Climate change is a global reality with serious consequences. According to the World Economic Forum's 2021 Global Risk Report, climate change continues to be a catastrophic risk despite lower global emissions due to COVID-19 lockdowns. Well, to talk us more about South Africa's climate change initiatives, I'm joined this lunchtime by Barbara Creecy, the Minister of Environment, Forestry and Fisheries. Ma'am, good afternoon. Thank you very much for joining us this lunchtime. I saw a report just the other day, a media report saying that South Africa has retained its top ranking on the G20 list for countries most reliant on coal-fired power in 2020 and, of course, most likely to remain there. That's not a good kind of ranking to be keeping. Your initiatives, will they be addressing improving that ranking for us?
Good afternoon and greetings to all your listeners. And indeed, I think we all understand that at the moment 90% of South Africa's electricity generation comes from coal. And in terms of our involvement in the Paris Agreement, we have had to submit by the end of this year a revised plan on our contribution to reduce carbon gas emissions and also to respond and adapt to climate change. And yesterday I tabled what we call the revised NDCs, the Nationally Determined Contribution to Reducing Greenhouse Gas Emissions. This revised NDC reduces our greenhouse gas emissions by about 17% by 2025 and aims to reduce our contribution by 28% by 2030. Now, at the moment, this document has been released for public comment, and I think there will be a lot of interest in it from business, organized labor, and of course, civil society. And we're looking forward to their inputs and contributions, and we're hoping that through their inputs and contributions, we should be able to increase our ambition. Our country is extremely vulnerable to climate change. Everybody remembers Cyclone Eloise earlier this year, completely unheard of for a tropical cyclone to land up in the Northern Cape. These and other extreme weather events are an indication that climate change is already part of our lived reality.
Yeah, but climate change involving that fight against greenhouse gas emissions doesn't come cheap.
Look, I think that what we have to understand is that we face a climate risk, but we also face a transition risk. And what I mean by a transition risk is that across the world, our major trading partners are declaring that their economies will be net carbon zero by 2050. And what this is going to probably mean is that going forward, they will be protecting their investments in green technology, and they will be preferring to trade with other countries that have similar investments. Now, while this poses a risk for us, it also poses enormous opportunities, because what we all understand is that across the globe, as we recover from the COVID pandemic, there are two areas where there is growth. The one is obviously ICT, and the other is green technology and green industries. Already in our country, up until June 2020, all the four bid windows for renewable energy had generated us something in the region of 210 billion rands worth of investment and had created somewhere in the region of 52,600 jobs. So we can see that we badly need investment, we badly need areas where we can create jobs, and renewable energy and other forms of green technology. For example, Toyota is developing Africa's first hybrid motor vehicle to be put on the production line later this year in the city of eThekwini. And of course, there are many other areas of green technology, including new means of waste disposal and so on. But these are areas where there is appetite for growth, where there is availability of financing, both domestically and internationally. And of course, as I've already shown, these areas have a proven record of job creation.
Now, ma'am, what role would you then expect from us, the public, in terms of this new climate change package that you're going to be dealing with going forward?
Well, I think, first of all, we're very keen that everybody should read the revised indices that we put out yesterday. Obviously, these indices have been developed in consultation with the private sector. We need to get feedback from civil society. But
what's the time for that feedback? How much time are you giving the public for the feedback?
Well, the intention is we must complete this process by the end of May so that we can do further technical work on the feedback. We have to submit the revised NDCs to the United Nations by the time of COP26 in November.
Now, the private sector, you said you've developed these indices in collaboration with them. Has that been a positive experience? Because, I mean, we know that a lot of the gas emissions, of course, the responsibility lies in different types of industries.
Well, look, let me first say that I think it's a matter of public record that Eskom has announced that it has an aspiration to reach net carbon zero by 2050. I think other major emitters, such as, for example, Sasol, are looking very hard at what they can do to improve their production processes, and obviously they're also interested in new production processes in the green hydrogen value chain. I've already mentioned some of our motor manufacturers that are now looking at the question of how they can look at developing new forms of hybrid vehicles. So these are all potential areas where the private sector already has interest and is being involved. I think recently there's been a lot of discussion in the public domain about the platinum value chain. And one would understand that platinum is an essential component in battery storage. It's also a very important component in green hydrogen. So these are all areas which are buzzwords in the international economy, and I think we have particular advantages being one of the major platinum producers in the world.
Okay, finally, ma'am, you mentioned that the goal is to reduce the emission of pollutants by 2030, reduced by 28%. Did I hear that right?
That is the upper limit.
Is it achievable? Is it achievable?
The technological work that we've done on the changes that are included in the IRP 2019 and also the work that is being done in the private sector, it indicates that, yes, it is achievable.
Okay, thank you very much, ma'am. That's the Minister of Environment, Forestry and Fisheries, Barbara Creecy, giving us more details about the latest indices that have been published by her department as South Africa seeks to reduce the emission of those pollutants, those harmful gases, target the upper end of 28% reduction by the year 2030.